Ms. Horvath, you are named. You will have to leave the chamber for the duration of the day. I would ask the member for Toronto Danforth to come to order. The member for Toronto Danforth will come to order.
An extraordinary day at Queen's Park. The official opposition disrupting the legislature as the Ford government reintroduces the bill to cut Toronto City Council almost in half. Despite their efforts and the NDP being escorted out of the legislature, the controversial bill passed first reading today.
To what end did you disrupt the legislature today, and how long do you think you can postpone the inevitable?
Well, again, we are doing everything we can to fight back against a government that's doing something that's completely inappropriate.
Good evening. The legislature resumed here at Queen's Park today amidst chaos, barbs, and protesters in handcuffs as Doug Ford became the first premier in Ontario history to introduce the notwithstanding clause so he can override a judge's ruling, slash Toronto City Council, despite the fact it was deemed unconstitutional and a violation of the Charter of Rights and Freedoms.
Using the notwithstanding clause is a clause used against me and my neighbors, and that is undemocratic.
Protesters lined up early at Queen's Park to try and get into the gallery on this historic day when the Ford government added the notwithstanding clause to the bill. Today turned into a clash of ideas from two very different political perspectives with no middle ground.
Does the Premier believe that Canada needs a Charter of Rights?
What Canada needs, and Ontario needs, and Toronto needs is democracy. Democracy.
I'm sorry, we're going to have to clear the galleries.
We are using the Charter of Rights and Freedoms to uphold the Constitution.
And now I think that the Attorney General understands the role of the courts in upholding democracy in our country and our province. And if she doesn't, she should go back to law school, Speaker.
As the right hand to Mr. Ford, does the Deputy Premier support overriding our Charter of Rights and Freedoms to satisfy the whims of a would-be dictator, or will the Deputy Premier
My friends, do you know what people are worried about? People are worried about being gouged by the government.
Come to order. Thank you. Take your seat. Please take your seat. Please take your seat. The Premier will please take his seat.
Now, after that raucous session in the legislature, ministers came out to talk to reporters, and I especially wanted to talk to Attorney General Caroline Mulroney. As I told you yesterday, her father, former Prime Minister Brian Mulroney, has been very vocal over the past few decades about his opposition to the notwithstanding clause. Attorney General, are you holding your nose and supporting this notwithstanding clause? I mean, how do you rationalize this? Your own father spoke out about it yesterday and has been for decades.
Well, two questions. 2 points. I am certainly not doing that. I am fully supportive of our government's decision to appeal the decision of the Superior Court, which we believe it was wrongly decided. And so we are appealing that case. And because time is of the essence, there is an election in the City of Toronto in a few short weeks. We have decided to use a tool that is available, is a legal tool that is available to the legislature. And so we are using that tool to ensure that we can get this election, that the people of Toronto have the rules that they need and clarity that they need for this election.
What do you say to your father?
And with respect to my father, his views on the notwithstanding clause have been well documented, and he is open to the opportunity every time to be able to speak to those. He was opposed to the notwithstanding clause when it was introduced, but he recognizes, and he said yesterday, that it is a tool that is a legal tool that is available for democratically elected legislatures to use.
It took just 6 hours. It took just 6 hours for your government to decide to invoke the notwithstanding clause. Is that enough time for a thoughtful, measured response, or is it just a quick, hasty reaction?
Well, again, we're appealing the decision. Time is of the essence. We've got an October 22nd municipal election. We need to be able to have some certainty around those 25 wards, and that's why we'll be reintroducing the bill.
Now, next steps. The bill, which is now called the Efficient Local Government Act, has to go through second and third reading. So second reading tomorrow. But given the dates of the legislature sitting, because it won't sit again until Wednesday, if you give all the timing and the reading and debate, it's very possible that this bill may not pass until September 24th. That's less than a month before the municipal election. Now, the bill does say if candidates have not signed up for the 25-ward election, that they will have 2 days to do so after the bill passes.